You got me running. Shake it, baby. Raise your hands up. Raise them up.
आधी दोरीने सोडवता येते. मग द प्रिन्सिपल स्टेज द सेम. इयरफोन करते ना अनटँगल स्वतःचे, नाही ते पण कंटाळून ब्लूटूथ घेतलं आता. हा ब्लूटूथ लीश.
I wish. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Stepping in Their Shoes. I'm really excited for today's episode because we are going to be working with dogs today and I've been a dog lover since my childhood. आणि त्यामुळे मला असं आहे की आज फक्त कुत्र्यांवर काम करायला मिळणार आहे. लेट्स सी व्हॉट हॅपन्स अँड हाऊ इट गोज. टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू बी ॲट पेट सिटर्स प्रीमियम बोर्डिंग फॅसिलिटी. इट्स अ डॉग kennel and a dog facility in Pune. We have with us today Shalaka Mundada, the owner. Hi. So, pet sitting, it's a very unique profession and we generally don't think about it in a mainstream profession. So, what led you to choose this profession?
So, somewhere as a young adult, I heard myself say that I wanted to work with dogs. I was in a very boring profession before this and left that. I was in a break and one of my dog actually fell sick. And at that point in time, I would visit the vet very regularly. Dog got better. I still had time, so I checked with the vet whether I could volunteer at his clinic because from the administrative side, because I don't even come from this field otherwise. So I continued working over there, met a lot of pet parents, met a lot of pets, made a lot of understood a little bit of dog behavior and everything while I was there. And a lot of people would come back saying that whenever they want to leave and go for a holiday, there isn't really any place that they can leave their dog. And that's where the idea actually came up. So at one point in time, I remember a client checking with me saying that, so it's something like, so I kept saying daycare. And at some point in time, somebody said, so is it like how babysitters work? And that's exactly how the name actually pet sitters came up. Yeah.
Okay. When you came up with this idea, how was the reaction of your family or the friends which you knew? की नक्की काय करायचंय आणि कसं?
I think it was unique, which is why, everybody from my friend's family has pretty much been the standard, whatever is considered to be standard. But the good thing was, my father comes in from a little bit like he likes dogs, and I am married into a family which loves dogs. They've always had dogs. In fact, I've not grown up with dogs at all. I got married into a family which has always had dogs. So it was quite okay that way. Honestly, nobody knew what challenges were going to come or how much fun it was going to be and which way was it going to go. So but I come from an environment largely which has never stopped me from doing what I've wanted. All elders alike. So which is why I guess it was easy to get into it at that point in time.
So this is a unique idea, and when you started this, were there any competitors into this business, or how did you start with the market research?
So when we started 2008, honestly there weren't too many. A lot of people would leave the dog either at their friend's place or family's place while they were traveling. There were a couple of breeders who would keep the dog back where the pup had been picked up from, and that was the kind of boarding facilities that would run. Research wise also, Delhi had a couple of places because Delhi was, if you had to just generally look up, but it wasn't something that you could just Google and kind of get a list of people and places who are doing this. A lot of information was Western in terms of कसं बांधायचं, काय बांधायचं, flooring काय पाहिजे, size काय पाहिजे, everything was the Western world. There wasn't anything specifically like India related. So read up a lot of that actually. And then I think my decision was primarily based on where is it that I want my dog to live. Yeah, so what are the kind of services forget even services. I think it was what are the kind of facility that I would want my dog to live. What are the kind of people that I want my dog to be taken care of by. And I think that was partly or largely the whole reason in terms of how the recruitment would happen or what is it that I'm checking, size kai paije, all of that pretty much came about based on that.
what is people's perception about this job?
I'll say in the last 15 years it's changed. It wasn't what we are doing today. Pailanda, it was very, people take us a little for granted, or they used to take a lot more for granted about 10 years back than what they do today. Largely it's changed because I think people are giving pets a lot more priority, lot more importance. There's research that's being done. Though, yes, you do hear of all these abandonments and everything on the side, that apart, the majority of crowd is now looking at making sure that their pets are also as well taken care of as a family member. So when we started off, like smallest of things which got me working was people would book with me, and then they would book their holiday or whatever. Then they would go, for some reason the holiday had to get cancelled, and they would go ahead and book the hotel, the airline, the train ticket or whatever you had, but they wouldn't cancel my booking because it's just a dog. Yeah, so they didn't think it was important enough to cancel my booking. And on based on, let's say you've booked with me, now I've saved the place for you, and you now, I call you up on the day of checking and you say, "Nee, madam, but we've cancelled the stay." So which didn't even give me the opportunity to board another dog because I'd saved the kennel for a client already. So that has definitely changed. I mean, things like those basically got us also to understand the kind of things in terms of, I have a cancellation policy. I was very strict with regards to payment policies. So these things kind of came into place, and we made sure that we didn't negotiate anywhere at that point in time. Because though we were per se we were a new industry. I mean, in 2008 we were a new industry. Nobody knew about a concept like this. So what happened then? Good job. What happened at that point in time was that people then had to start taking us seriously because we are here to stay. We are not somebody who's just about कुत्तों के साथ काम करते. We still hear that every now and then, but it just takes a different meaning to a certain extent. But people have definitely doing a lot more research. We do a lot more trial stays, visits, assessments, so that the dog feels comfortable in the kennel. And that is something that has largely changed in these last 15 years, and it will keep getting better and better. Yeah.
think that being an animal lover or a dog lover is enough to be in this profession?
No.
Or what other qualities do we need?
You definitely need to be compassionate. Whether you're an animal lover or a dog lover, kind of then comes in secondary. If you do it, for me, the only way to do it right is see what I'm also doing as against anybody else is also I'm dealing with other people's dogs, right? These are not necessarily all my dogs that I'm working with. So the sense of security, the sense of responsibility, sense of hygiene is far more higher than me just having my own dogs over here. So which is why it's, I mean, I, like as mentioned, I got into owning dogs when I got married, which is about 20 years back. Before that I didn't have a dog of my own. Then when you actually start doing things for your own dog, you realize that it's a responsibility. And then it takes one level up when you start doing things for other people's dogs. Yeah, I mean, just the way a daycare runs for humans, it's like it's one to have my children and it's one to take care of somebody else's children. I'll be far more careful, far more diligent, far more particular about certain things. So whenever we are working with these, I mean, whenever I have people coming in basically saying that, so my standard line is it's one to say I like dogs, but it's a completely different thing to say I work with dogs. Like when you meet Sanika, she came to me like that. She said I like dogs, but when you actually physically start working with them and in a facility like this, which is 24/7 dogs, and a minimum of 10 to 12 at any given point in time, it's a very different kind of a physical toll that it takes. And then of course dealing with the owner mindsets, if I may very nicely put it. Yeah.
So, Atta ithe, do you just look after dogs or are there any other animals which
No,
you look
right now
after?
it's just primarily dogs. A couple of reasons I did dabble into whether I want to open up a cattery, but I don't understand the animal. And all my training, studies, education, apart from my formal education, has been in dog understanding, dog training, dog behavior. And I feel as a professional, it's very important that you know the animal that you're working with. So unless and until you understand that animal very well, I think it's unfair on the animal side to just say that I can board. I have the space, yes, I can definitely do it. But as said, that's not something that I want to get into unless and until I study the animal to be able to say. And I feel you also need to feel for the animal to a certain extent. Empathy has to be there. Till such time, I don't think you can run a facility which takes care of animals. Yeah.
So, only dogs, like for the breed say dogs, or do you have
No.
any social activity for
No.
indies?
So we do pet dogs. We do pet dogs, and it's irrespective of whether it's a breed or it's an indie mix or it's like whether you got him in as a puppy or whether you adopted him as an older dog. That's irrespective. You come from a family, and that's the dog that we are going to board. At the same time, I mean, over the last couple of years, I've managed to foster a couple of dogs who walked in over here, injured, maybe some dogs who've been abandoned at our door. Some dogs we found, they came in over here, we fostered them for a little while, we got homes for them. So that activity happens on the side separately. So that's what we call team pet sitters. So we have about 14-15 dogs that we right now take care of. Some for whom I'm looking for homes, some who are now not, I mean, they're going to be here for life. Yes.
So, what is your favorite activity to do in
Please.
play with dogs?
Yeah, I think that's the reason I started it, and it was So my calming down activity is bathing dogs. If I'm really worked up, I'll actually end up bathing a dog because it really calms me down. It gives me one-on-one with the dog, and it just generally makes me feel a little better. And it probably gets my anger out on whatever I'm angry with, and it's easy to refocus. But as a job, if you ask me, I like working with adult dogs who come in with probably behavior related issues because it's a little more challenging, it's a little more I won't say fun, but it's definitely a little more challenging because there's a lot that you need to learn from what the dog, where is it that this dog learned this particular behavior from, and why is he behaving in this particular manner. And that getting both of them to kind of come together on the same page, and then further going ahead to explain it to the pet parent in terms of why so and so is happening in the first place. So I think that probably is still a part of my, I mean, that excites me. If I don't know whether it's a favorite or not favorite, but that definitely excites me. But yeah, some days are rough when there's just too many client meetings going on, and then some days I'll probably just not do anything, just take dog by dog out, and I'll just probably sit with them. Yeah.
डॉग सायकोलॉजी म्हणजे द वे वी ट्रीट डॉग्स किंवा ते जे सांगतात ते हाऊ डू यू अंडरस्टँड इट, और इज देयर एनी
It's a science. It's a science. So there are courses in dog training, dog behavior, dog psychology. It is a science. So there are ways in which, how is it that you're training? How is it that the dog learns to do any particular activity or behavior that you want him to do? How is it that they learn in a natural environment, and how is it that we can get it to use to in our environment, because they are a completely different breed, right? Species wise. So we've gotten them dependent on us thousands of years back, and now they've become a part of our regular day-to-day lives. But at the end of the day, there is no I mean, it's not really a control mechanism, because as mentioned that it's a talking breed, it's a thinking breed, it has a brain of its own. So how they think and how they get their things across, and how we think and how we get our things across, as long as you manage to understand that. And for that, what I mean is a science. There are courses, there are tons and tons of courses available. I mean, today India also offers about 7 or 8 very good trainers who do train courses, behavior courses, and of course the whole of West is right now all over the place with like dog training and dog psychology, behavior. So it's a matter of what again gets onto you in terms of, yes, it requires a lot of patience. That's probably one of the virtues of a dog trainer or anybody actually who works with animals. You need to be able to have a lot of patience to be able to work this thing through, because till such a time that you get on the same page with the dog, there is going to be frustration. And our frustration comes out in various forms. As humans, our frustration comes out in various forms, and that the dog can't understand. So which is why then the patience comes in as a very large virtue. But yes, there are tons and tons of courses, lots of courses available, reading material, books, I mean, which will basically get you up and running on this.
What are the hygiene or any regulations which you follow here to maintain a standard?
Human hygiene, yeah. Dogs could possibly, I mean, some of the things that we are largely looking at is kennels. If the dog pees or poops in, that needs to be cleaned up first, making sure that the bedding that they're sleeping on or staying on, that is not wet or that's not covered with pee or water also for that matter. Food is not lying around in the kennel, because then rodents can be one of the reasons why, like, dogs can get infested with it. Dog hygiene wise, we need to make sure that the dogs don't come infested with ticks and fleas, because that is a major parasitic infection that can cover the whole kennel. Like if one dog walks in and the kennel is not covered for it, then the tick infestation can literally move within the next 5 days, and everybody can basically come in with that. So pest controls are necessary. We do the kind of kennel wash that we use inside, that is veterinary approved, so that it doesn't harm the skin of the dogs, because some cleaners can have chemicals, and therefore that can actually cause rashes or skin irritation to the skin. So these are the kind of things that we do, but largely, like I said, we are following human level hygiene, because so honestly, I mean, my team kitchen, where my staff makes all their meals, and where those dog meals are also cooked, that's the same. So it automatically keeps a certain level and above. So everybody then is equally I would say responsible for keeping it clean. Yeah.
If someone wants to get into this industry or this profession, what would you like to say to them, or how would you guide them?
Figure out a course, work or volunteer or intern with an organization which will allow you. It could be a shelter, it could be a veterinary, it could be a pet groomer, it could be a kennel owner like us. But work in a place, at least spend some time at a place which will give you an actual exposure to dogs. That is one thing that I would like to say. There are, as mentioned, there are courses which are now there even in India, which get you to do a train the trainer. Training right now is largely big in India, more than anything else. So like a lot of people are getting into training. So train the trainer courses are available in India pretty much through the year across various people offering it from Bombay, Bangalore, Delhi, and Pune also, in fact, now. We in fact offer something called, so we do a very short course of 20 hours, which is called the dog school. That basically gives you a एकदम ऊपर से exposure in terms of what does it mean to work with dogs. Yeah. And we try and include all aspects of it in terms of training, behavior, grooming, kennel cleaning, bathing, swimming, activities. And sometimes if we get an opportunity while the person is on board, if we get an opportunity to do behavior trainings, then that person also becomes a part of the behavior training module. So what that gives you is, first, it gives you on-hand experience of working with dogs, touching, feeling, playing, removing saliva coated toys from the mouth, which is probably something that most people don't want to do. But then that's working with dogs. That's nothing to do with loving a dog, honestly. So once you do that, then you have an opportunity to work with us as an intern. So it's like an earn and learn program. So whatever fees you've spent on the course, you basically get an opportunity to earn those fees back. So you work with us for 3 months as an intern. We've had some interns who've come in to work with us on a continuous basis. We've had a couple of professionals who can come on a staggered basis, because through the week maybe is not allowed. So maybe twice a week or thrice a week you can come and work with us. And that then basically gives you the foundation. Now, whether you want to take it up from here, what aspect of dog caring do you actually like, is something that comes out largely from here. Like some people will say that no, this is not something that I want to do, and it's okay. At least you figured that out before you actually got into it. So then that kind of helps, puts you at a base level to be able to say that what aspects do I really like. Some people might like the grooming aspect of it better, in which case you can then go ahead and do your groomer's course. Some people might just like the fact that you get to meet, play, work and learn about training and behavior on the side. Then maybe a kennel or a trainer apprentice works at that point in time. So these are the kind of things which basically give you, because you do a 3-month thing over here, it gives you the exposure, it gives you breeds, types of people, which is also sometimes very difficult, types of dogs, ages of dogs, working in teams, working alone, being answerable, because as I put in the first point, that here we are dealing with other people's dogs. So which means your level of responsibility is way higher than what you're even as a starting point, as I would do it with one of my dogs. So that is where it basically comes in from. So we do a lot of volunteering, interning, the dog school. I work with a lot of young children who are just about trying to figure out whether this is something that I want to do or no, because now the opportunities are there. Yeah. So which is why. So that's something that we do. But whether it's with us or anywhere else, if you are looking at entering the industry at any level, work with somebody. work with somebody and then figure out whether this is something that you really want to do or not. Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for फायनली दिवस संपलेला आहे आणि खूप जास्त दमली आहे मी, कारण सकाळपासनं खूप काम चाललं आहे. ॲक्च्युली मला असं वाटलं होतं आधी की माझ्यासाठी काम थोडं सोपं असेल, मला जास्त कष्ट नाही पडणार, बिकॉज मला डॉग्स एक तर खूप आवडतात आणि मी आधी डॉग्स फॉस्टर पण केले आहेत. सो मला असं वाटलं होतं की ठीक आहे, इझी असेल, काय फक्त चालवायचं वगैरे तर आहे, पण इट्स नॉट ॲट ऑल इझी. राईट फ्रॉम क्लिनिंग देअर कॅनल्स, त्यापेक्षा वेगळ्या टाईपचे वॉक्स असतात, त्यांचे बिहेवियर्स वेगळे आहेत सगळ्यांचे, आणि व्हरायटी ऑफ ब्रीड्सना हँडल करायला लागल्यामुळे त्यांचे प्रत्येकाचे ट्रेट्स वेगळे आहेत. सो एका डॉगवर आपल्या पेटबरोबर राहणं आणि त्याला हँडल करणं खूप वेगळं आहे, आणि इतके सगळे डॉग्स एकत्र असणं खूप वेगळं आहे. तर आज खूप मजा आली, पण ॲट द सेम टाईम जे काय फिजिकली दमणूक झाली आहे ती वेगळी गोष्ट ऑल टुगेदर. आणि डॉग्सबरोबर राहणं, काम करणं हे जितकं जास्त आवडतं तितकंच जास्त त्याला काम करायला लागतं, त्यांच्यावर तेवढाच पेशन्स ठेवायला लागतो, आणि कुठल्याही प्रकारची घाण वाटून चालत नाही की अरे हे कसं करू. नाही, वी हॅव टू बी विथ दॅम आणि वी हॅव टू लव्ह डॉग्स सो मच सो दॅट वी आर ओके टू डू एनिथिंग अँड एव्हरीथिंग फॉर दॅम. आणि आज लकीली पावसाने साथ दिली, सो हॅपी अबाउट दॅट की ॲटलिस्ट पाऊस नाही पडला, बिकॉज ऑफ विच आम्हाला त्यांच्यावर खेळता आलं, मला फेच इतर गोष्टी खेळता आल्या, त्यांचं ट्रेनिंग बघता आलं, प्लस आम्हाला त्यांना पाण्यात नेता आलं. वी हॅड अ लॉट ऑफ फन विथ वॉटर. आणि नवीन एका डॉगला आम्ही पाण्याच्या ह्याच्यात सोडलं. इट वॉज हर फर्स्ट टाईम गेटिंग इन टू वॉटर अँड इट वॉज अ रिअली ग्रेट एक्सपिरियन्स, बिकॉज जसं माझ्यासाठी फर्स्ट टाईम होतं तसं त्या डॉगसाठी सुद्धा फर्स्ट टाईम होतं ते, आणि खूप मजा आली. खूप भारी वाटलं की एवढ्या सगळ्या कुत्र्यांना मला एकत्र हँडल करायला मिळतं आहे, पण ॲट द सेम टाईम मला त्यांच्यावर राहता येतं आहे, त्यांच्या नवीन गोष्टी शिकता येतात. आय होप यू लाईक दिस व्हिडिओ. प्लीज वॉच आवर सिरीज and let us know in the comment section below ki what other professions you want us to try, and we'll definitely make sure that we try one. Thank you for watching.
You got me running, got me running.